what I want to do is give you some communication tips. And the first one we want to work on is the driver. And the most important thing that a driver can do to be a better communicator is work on a more gentle approach. The thing that makes a driver very strong is their ability to have a lot of confidence and have a pretty good ego when it comes to communicating. But where they lack sometimes is that gentle approach, making everybody feel part of the process instead of being directed with the process. We need to work a little bit more on other people's feelings, understanding their opinions and their ideas when it comes to tasks, when it comes to projects. It's important to make everybody feel like they're part of the team, not just someone that's listening to your commands and your directives. We need to resist the I have to win every argument. One of the things that make a driver a good member of the team is they are very convicted. When they believe in something, they'll fight for it. But sometimes, even when they're wrong, they feel like they at least have to win the argument rather than to give in and say that they might be wrong. So being able to say you're wrong and not have to feel like you win every time is important. The last one is we have to resist the sarcasm. One of the things that a driver has a tendency of doing is if they don't agree with something, they'll make a sarcastic response, they'll give a facial expression that shows sarcasm. So one of the most important things we need to do is show value, show appreciation to every team member, and when it comes to that, we won't try to make them feel like their opinion isn't valuable. Now when it comes to communication tips for a high I, it doesn't seem like they need any tips at all, right? They're natural communicators. But the biggest and most important tip that we can give them with communication is talk less, listen more. One of the best things you can do as a team member is to listen to everybody, not just pipe in when they say something that you think you need to contribute to. The other thing that high I's have a tendency of doing quite a bit of is they talk really, really fast. Their enthusiasm comes out, so when they get going, they can't help themselves and they start talking 100 miles an hour. If they would just slow down just a little bit, everybody's going to be able to follow them a little bit better. One of the things that they have a true issue with is completing their thoughts. Their minds are racing so fast that they forget to actually finish the sentence or the thought. So to be a better communicator, we need to stay focused on what we're trying to accomplish, what we're trying to do. We need to be careful about interrupting or dominating conversation. What we have a tendency of doing is because we think out loud, we verbalize what we're thinking. We can't solve a problem without verbalizing it. Sometimes we have a tendency of dominating the conversation. We have a tendency of interrupting people when we have a thought. And so to be a better communicator, we need to talk less, listen more, speak a little slower, complete our thoughts, complete our sentences, and be careful about not interrupting or dominating the conversations. When it comes to some tips on how a high C, the analytical, would communicate better, the first and foremost we need to understand is you guys are so good with the facts, the figures, the data, and it's not much about your feelings. You don't express your thoughts, your emotions, or your feelings. And for the high I's and the high S's, that's what they're looking for. They want to know how you feel about something, not what you analytically think about something. So one of the things you could do to be a better communicator to that side is to share those feelings and those thoughts. We need to focus less on the facts and more on feelings and concerns. We want to focus on the data, the minutia, the process, when in fact we really want to focus more on the concerns that other people have, the feelings that they have towards the project, the concerns that they have towards the way something's going to be done. And here's the big one, criticize less. We need to be less in criticism and more in praise. The hard thing for a C to do is to have that emotional part of it, because we want to be all about the facts. And if we understand that most people aren't all about the facts, then we'll understand the importance of praise. When someone does a good job, but if they've given you the facts that you're looking for, if they're giving you what you don't expect that that's what they should do, praise them for it. So work more on expressing your thoughts and feelings, focus less on the facts and more on feelings and concerns, and criticize less and praise more. Those are things that are going to help you be a better communicator. Now, when it comes to communicating tips for a S, the very amiable kind of personality, The most important thing we need to understand about the S is they don't like conflict. So they have a tendency of running away from conflict. Don't run. If there's a differencing of opinion, don't look at it as a conflict, look at it as what it is. It's a differencing of opinion. Don't run away from it, don't give in to it, stand your ground. You need to be a little bit more direct. You need to assert yourself in your interactions. You need to make sure that when you are talking to someone, you look them in the eye. You have confidence when you speak. People want to trust that what you're saying is going to happen. And so if we're trying to be direct in our approach, if we're trying to make sure our interaction can be somewhat assertive, we're going to have people's buy-in a little bit quicker. Now we need to work on expressing our thoughts and our opinions and our feelings. We have them inside, and in small groups we feel pretty comfortable in sharing them, but what we have to do is in any kind of group we want to make sure that that we express those, because that's what people are looking for. Like I said before, most people want to know how we're feeling about a project. Most people want to know what our impression of something is. And one of the things that we do is you're such good listeners. We have a tendency of really listening to what people are saying, but we need to initiate the conversation more. We need to give our insights. We don't need to be asked every time what our opinion is. We need to be able to share it with them. So those are a few of the growth tips that I would give you on making sure that you are contributing verbally in a project with a team as well as doing it emotionally.